Y'all shook up?
Oh.
All right. Okay. All right, where am I at? This one.
Yep. Let's move it on over.
All right.
Right.
Hello, everybody. It's Danny and Wanda from
Oh.
Deepsouth Homestead.
Yeah.
Got quite a few jumped in the chat, and
Yep.
we may not have very many moderators tonight, so we're hoping everybody's at their best. If something happens, Danny will keep talking, and I'll try to catch it on my end because quite a few of our moderators have something going on tonight. And so y'all just bear with us if we have any issues.
Yeah. It is what it is tonight.
So
I sure hope y'all are having a lot cooler weather than what we're having. It has been very humid and very warm here in the Deep South.
mm-hmm.
I mean, just downright miserable weather for November. If I didn't know any difference, you'd swear it was August.
I walked out this evening and I go, whoa! And I'm like, because I've been in the house canning, and the difference from inside and outside was it was humid.
Oh, it's
and
bad.
It was hot.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Now
Mark's here. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, I've been out in it, for the last several days, all day, and I'm telling you, it's just miserable.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've been busy. Danny's been out working on the
I've been working on the
smokehouse.
Yeah.
And I've been canning. So I think we showed them the apples last time, the 3 apples.
Yeah, we did.
All right. So what I've been doing.
The apples look a lot different now.
Yeah.
This is what they look like now.
This is the Honeycrisp. They're in slices. And I haven't finished them. I still got another batch and a half to go of the Honeycrisp. This is the Granny Smith. And I put them in slices, but more of them mushed than the Honeycrisp. So that is the Granny Smith. And today I was working on some of the galas, and the galas stayed together in slices. So they did real good, but there just wasn't as many of them, and they're small. And then today I did applesauce. This was the Granny Smith. I went ahead and cooked some of them down and made applesauce. These little ones like this for single serving. And this size, like if we needed to go somewhere and both of us needed a snack, that goes with us.
Yeah.
We take our own snacks lots of times. Or at least I take Danny's. So I still got, I know, a third or better of the apples to go. I've been canning apples all week long, y'all.
Jeff Outdoors says, good evening, guys. Sitting by campfire and tuned in. We can't even allowed to have a fire here. We're under a massive burn ban in our part of the country down here because we have had 0 rain. And it's so dry that we're picking ticks off the catfish right now. I mean, it's bad. It's really, really bad.
Stephanie, I have bought coffee from Azure, but I bought coffee beans and I just stashed them. I haven't bought just ground coffee yet. That might be something I might try.
Mark says temps were nice there in early November last year. They were, Mark. I mean, you remember, it was really nice, but now, no, it is not now. I mean, it is, Laura Lamontrero says, Danny, I never thought I'd see Long Island in a drought. Well, believe me, it's happening.
Oh, let me tell them something about Azure, because I did not think, and I knew it, but I don't mention it because I'm not a salesman when it comes to videos. But those of you that have signed up for Azure, on your first order, you can put the words new 15 in as a code when you check out, and it gives you 15% off your first order only. I forgot that, and I didn't tell people, so it's in my descriptions. It's where Azure is, and under it says first time customers use code NEW15. I keep forgetting that. So any of you that are thinking about signing up, your first order only.
Hello there, Mr. Donnie.
Stephanie, the granola recipe that I used of Danny's mom's, I have that in a video either on Crazy Days or Deepsouth. Type in both. You could type in Deepsouth Homestead granola or Crazy Days, DAZES granola, and it should pop up. I mean, I'm not sure. My moderators aren't here tonight, so they can't find it for you, but you should be able to find it some way. If not, send me an email at deepsouthhomestead@gmail.com, and I will send you a copy.
Darlene Wright says, who does the knife sharpening in the house? And what do you use? Thanks. I do all the knife sharpening in our house, and I just use a wet rock. I mean, that's
he's got a variety.
I have a variety of different wet rocks to sharpen the knives. I just sit right here in my chair and do it. It's not really a big deal. It don't take but a few minutes. And
Danny thought he got a nice gift this week, because when he opened it up, I says, "Oh, somebody sent you a pretty knife," and he says, "Well, it's kind of psychedelic," and I cracked up when I saw it.
Look at this. Somebody sent Miss Wanda a candy.
Miss Jimmy.
Mr. Jimmy sent
Miss Jimmy.
Oh, is it Miss Jimmy?
Yeah, Miss Jimmy Bass.
Miss Jimmy Bass sent Wanda a candy corn knife. Look at that. Isn't that funny looking? I mean,
and it's a case. It's a nice knife.
Yeah,
Thank you, Miss Jimmy.
It's a good knife.
Oh, Mr. Buddy is here. I thought that was fantastic because see, it does say case on it. It is a case.
It's a double X 75.
It's a what?
It's called a double X 75. If you
What
flip that blade
mean?
open on it, it should have double X 75 on the inside of it somewhere.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
it's got a bunch of blades.
Usually on one of them, on the inside, right in here, it'll have double X 75 wrote on it.
It's got something written on it.
That's what it should have.
Case.
It's a double X.
I can't read that far.
Mm.
Is there another blade? Yeah.
Yeah. Don't cut yourself.
All right, that's what it looks like. Isn't that pretty? Thank you, Miss Jimmy. That is nice. But I mean, I laughed because I thought it was Danny's until he said something about it being psychedelic. And I was
just opening the box. I said, wow, that's a case knife. And I opened it up and I looked. I said, I've never seen a case this color. You know, and we both realized at the same time that it was a candy corn color.
I started laughing. But somebody, and we're not sure who, sent Danny a pretty.
Hey, let me see if I can get this up here. An Old South sweet potato hat. I mean, isn't that cool? I've never seen a hat that says Old South. Now, it's funny that you would send it, whoever sent this. In our hometown right here, the store that I buy my feed and seed and all that from is called Old South.
Hey, Suzanne.
That's pretty.
All right,
pretty
they
interesting.
found the granola recipes on Crazy Days. It's called 2 granola recipes. One's baked and no bake.
Yeah.
And somebody asked about my shirt. You're gonna have to read my shirt.
Pray big, worry small, trust God, laugh more,
stress
less, and have faith.
Yeah. This came from Love and Faith.
Jimmy B said, Miss Jimmy said, I sent that too.
Oh, you sent the hat? Okay. Well, you got a pretty from Miss Jimmy too.
Okay.
Now I got something else. Now I don't know who this one come from, but this is gorgeous, y'all. Look at this. Household Searchlight recipe book. And I don't know if it shows.
If you can get the copyright, if you can get all that.
That on the bottom says the Household Magazine. Y'all, this is an old book. Let me see.
This is way back there.
1938 from Topeka, Kansas. Y'all, to show you how old, look.
It has thumb tabs in it. Now, I mean, when's the last time you saw a book that had
thumb tabs? made into the pages.
Yeah, it's made in the pages, and the recipe, it's got so many recipes in it, it ain't even funny.
This is an awesome book. I don't know who sent it, but it is fantastic.
That is a nice book. Really it is. That's really a nice book.
It's got a lot of good recipes, just easy down home recipes. I love old recipes. I mean, but the problem is I want to cook them all.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. You always, when you start seeing these recipes, you're like, oh, boy, I want to try that one, you know, and
yeah,
and you realize before long that you really just can't do it. You know, you have to pick and choose
all the time, and
yeah.
I'm like this one I think uses a lot of lard.
This one does. This one uses the actual word lard.
Yeah.
And
Miss Nancy says, I have the 1940. You're welcome. Did you send me this book, Miss Nancy? If you did, that is awesome. 1938. I've never heard of that type of. It says the sound is going.
Yeah, it went off and came back on just a minute ago.
I don't have a link to the recipe book. Somebody sent it to me. But that is what we got this week. So thank you guys.
Oh man, we have had it has been so busy this week. I mean, it has just been unreal at how busy it is. We actually have done a lot of cleanup over at Deepsouth Homestead. We had a dumpster delivered Monday, and a big dumpster, and actually called them back Tuesday and told them you can come pick it up. It is full to the rim. You know, I mean, we are literally, we're doing the remodeling over there. That's one thing, and we're just gutting and remodeling everything in the house and all that. Miss Suzanne has the house painted now, on the inside, which is good. Now we'll be ready to start doing the interior work, like flooring and putting in new hot water heaters and stuff like that. You know, we got all that to go next, and then we got a lot of stuff outside. I tore down the old chicken pen with the grapple. The pin part.
Pin part, yeah.
I have it all wadded up and just piled up in a pile back there, waiting on it. We're going to get another dumpster in for it. We're going to be replacing the deck on the back of the house. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing. Just making it, you know, the stuff that's just been needing to be done for a long, long time. We just kept putting it off and putting it off. And now that we're not there all the time to be in the way, we can actually do things.
The thing that we asked y'all to pray about went really well. We had a good meeting.
Yes.
Not resolved, but a good meeting. We're waiting on answers.
Yeah. It's shut down at this point.
Yeah. It
has been brought to a halt, and now we are in the wait mode, I guess you would say. Mm-hmm. There's no more progress being made. We do believe that the Lord is going to grant the desires, but
one way or
the other, you know, and it has turned out. I'm still not happy with what happened and how it happened because of the evilness that was involved in it, but.
I think it's going to be okay.
I think it's going to work itself out. But don't quit praying. Lord knows, don't quit praying.
And people were asked, and somebody says, do you think God's hand's back on America? I think right now American people have the Christian people need to be praying.
Let's put it this way.
How would you word it?
Right now, in America, God's hand was lifted off of America, okay? God's hand's still lifted off of America. But right now, God has put the ball back into the hands of the Christian people in America. Now, what we do with that ball will determine the future of America. You don't just because of an election say, oh, God's hand's been lifted off of, been put back on America. You don't. That's God may have allowed a particular person. Well, let's put it this way: He hasn't come into power yet. Okay.
You get too cocky, too happy.
You get too cocky, too happy, and you quit praying, and you go, oh, well, God's hand's already back. We don't have to worry anymore. And you quit praying. Something happens, and we're even worse than we were, you know.
Things happen when God's people do nothing.
Yeah.
And God's people came together. They prayed. They wanted a solution. And God says, okay, I'm giving you a solution. What you going to do with it?
Yeah.
And when we go, oh, okay, Trump's got this, and bye, y'all. It ain't going to happen. You said the wrong word.
I know.
Quit talking about that.
I know. But anyway.
Okay, off that subject.
But yeah, I mean, if we go to war, then everything is null and void, and.
You said it again.
Well, I'm sorry. I got to say it. I mean, and then we're right back where we were.
Okay. Into how is the Smokehouse going?
I've spent 2 days this week working on the Smokehouse in this extreme heat and humidity out there. I swear it's been about to kill me.
Let me show them a quick
But
picture.
we're making progress. We're actually making progress on it. There should be a video.
Monday, if I get it made.
If we can get the video shot, there should be a video coming up Monday on the Smokehouse and the progress that we've made with it.
Okay, that's why I was trying to get it where I could turn it back off. Yeah, he's been working on really hard on it.
Yeah, I've been working too long. Well, we had to go to town both days. I mean, but I'd say most of 2 days I've been working on it because, just to be honest with you, I think we're fixing to have to use it. To be honest with you, I may not have the furnace done, but I've got a way to make it work, and we're gonna use it.
When we need it, it's ready.
Well, I've got to build a shelf system in it. That's the biggest issue I got to come up with is the shelf system to go in it, so that we got a way to put stuff on it right now. I'm gonna put a pipe rack system in it and a shelf system and all, so that so we can use it. But anyway.
Okay, some of you that are having problems with the sound when it kicks in and out, you may have to refresh. It started doing this last week or the week before, and right now, before I forget, next week we're going to go to 7 o'clock.
Yes, we will be going to 7 o'clock next week because
Danny was asleep.
I was asleep a while ago. I mean, I'm telling you, if I stop after working all day in this heat, when I come to a complete halt, I'm out. You know, I mean, I just fall asleep. Sometimes I fall asleep sitting up. Sometimes I fall asleep standing up. I mean, I just fall asleep.
So starting next week, 7 p.m. Central Time. Whatever time, I don't know what time that is for y'all, but Central Time. Smoking cheese. Oh, yeah.
Joe Doe says, Danny, do you think it'll be cold enough to butcher your hog soon? We're not going to have a choice. No, it's not going to be cold enough. We're going to get down into 40s in the next week or so here. But we're going to go right back into a warm-up right behind that. And we're going to actually be warm all the way till probably first week or so in December. And we're really not going to get any 30s that I've seen or that anyone else has even told me till probably right before Christmas. You know, we might drop into the 30s unless something freaky happens and we get some kind of Arctic blast down through here because of some anomaly that's happened. But we're not even scheduled to be in the 30s here until almost Christmas Day.
Yeah, see, we got a lot of old timers in the chat because they all saying that it's great. They love it that we're going back to 7 because the time change is killing them.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to get her tonight to just go ahead and start at 7, and she says, "No, we better wait till 8." I'm like, "Gosh, woman."
Do we like the raw cheese from Azure? I bought the white cheddar, and we love it.
We love our cheese.
It is from Sierra Nevada, and we bought the big, what do you call it? Cube. It's a long.
Yeah, the long.
Tub cube. I don't know what they call it.
It's like a deli.
Loaf.
Yeah,
they call it a loaf.
It's called a loaf. It's like you get it to deli, the big square long things, and you can sit there and.
Danny sliced it up, and we put some in chunks and put it in the freezer. And when you put it in the freezer, when you take it out, you don't really have to shred it. You can just almost just crumble it up and put it in whatever you're doing. So that keeps me from having to shred any cheese. I'm just lazy, y'all.
Cajun Dog Farm said, did we miss naming the syrup shack? No. We're waiting on a sign to get here, and if it ever gets here...
You got to talk to your daughter, because, well, in her defense, she is trying to create her business, getting it set up, and all with the T-shirts and other things, and they had a show that they went to, and they were getting ready for that show, so she was having to make up extra merchandise and stuff, and she hasn't finished our sign. She told me hopefully maybe this next week, and within the next week or two anyway. So we didn't want to tell the name of it till we had the sign in place. So we got some time.
Yeah. Wild Turkey says, I want to know who taught my dog to read a clock. He gets up too early and wants to go to bed too early. Mm-hmm. That's just a God-given instinct. We are to be the same way. Chickens go to bed early. They get up early. I mean, all of God's creatures do this.
Yeah.
Darlene says, how many pounds of deer meat do you take in a season? Well, Darlene, the deer here are nothing.
They're small.
They're not big as they are like when I hunted up north in Connecticut or Massachusetts and New York and all these places when I hunted up there. The deer up there is like a yearling calf down here. Down here, if you get about 60 pounds of meat off of a deer, you've done good. You know, so usually we try to put up 2 deer a year for us to have deer meat, and predominantly most of that is ground meat or sausage, to be honest with you.
All right, Mr. Lee asked that we pray for his wife Margie. She's been hospitalized with a blockage to her heart. So we want to, when we have prayer later, remember
Miss Margie.
Miss Margie. All right, so Marie said she got her mugs from Carrie this week. She loves them. Great.
Great.
Do y'all have a slicer for your cheese? Yes.
Yes, we do. Hey,
we
hey, Alabama.
A video showing slicing and wrapping the cheese here on, no, not on Deepsouth, on Pecan Grove. If y'all aren't on Pecan Grove, y'all need to go.
Yeah, you're missing it. If you ain't over at Pecan Grove, you're missing all the videos. We got videos over there. Just tons of videos.
All right, I missed something and I lost right somewhere on here. Tim said should have the last of the meal parts together tomorrow.
All right.
All right. And Jen and Bama said second foot surgery this week, so they're asking for prayers. Susie NC says my dog reminds me when it's time to eat. He doesn't know the time changed. That is.
My stomach don't know that the time has changed. Whenever I mean.
Danny's like your dog.
I am. I mean, I'm like a clock. I don't need an alarm clock.
He come walking in here. I was canning, and when I'm canning, I'm in my own little world. I don't think about lunch, dinner, supper. Ask Tim and Heidi.
Yeah.
And I don't think about food. I just start canning. And he come in here. It was about 11:15 one day. He says, "What's for dinner?" I'm going, "I don't know." So he has to hunt something and hope I got something in the refrigerator and heat up. All right.
Let's see. Ooh, boy, it jumped. Where did we go here? My eyes is blurry tonight. I ain't got my glasses on. Let's see here.
They're just kind of.
Let me see if I can get here where I can see a little bit better.
Okay. They're just kind of talking.
We can't name it the Sugar Shack, guys, because that's what Ms. Lippy's building's called, and we're not going to take Ms. Lippy's thunder from her.
Yeah, we're not. It's a multi-purpose.
It's a multifunctional building. We butcher and skin our deer. We don't butcher them, but we skin our deer out underneath it. We'll be cooking syrup there. We'll be grilling there. I mean, there's all kinds of things. We have a swing sitting underneath there. We sit in a swing. We'll be fellowshipping under there. I mean, it's a multi-purpose building right now.
All right, Miss Jones says, can you pray that Remembrance Sunday in London is peaceful, please? So, Remembrance
Sunday in London is
London.
Peaceful.
Yes, because you guys are having some really tough times right now.
Miss Jones, there's some things coming in Europe over there in the next month. It ain't gonna be good, and I pray for y'all all the time. Really, I do, because what happens over there usually will happen over here not long after that, and I am constantly in prayer about that, because y'all have a hard row to hoe here in the next month or two. It's not gonna be good.
Mr. Joe, the maple syrup I got last, I got some from Azure Standard, but I also had people send me some. So if you're looking for really good maple syrup, Azure Standard does have some at a reasonable price, because what I got was a lot. What was it, a gallon? Half gallon? I don't remember. It's about half a gallon.
2 quarts.
Okay.
Probably
half a
probably
gallon.
About half a gallon.
I don't remember the price, but compared to what I buy stuff in town, it was really reasonable. Because in town, one of these little bitty things that has about 8 or 10 ounces in it was like, what, $15. I don't even remember. I like to freaked one day, and I says, oh, I can't pay that. But yeah, we already got a name, and it's gonna fit. When you see it, you'll say, yeah, I don't know why we didn't think of that, but it'll fit.
Let's see. I'm trying to pick up on some of these. There's all kinds of things here called the swinging shack, the maple shack. We don't have maple here, so well, we have maples, but we can't tap them because it don't get cold enough. But well, guys,
shack is already the prepper shack is what he calls the little building.
That's what we call the little building out there. But y'all, guys, when people on here mention prayer, it shouldn't go to just us. Everybody should. As a collective group, we need to pray, because there's power in numbers.
Okay, Miss Peggy said she got her Vago beds filled today. Yeah.
All right.
I got 2 that hadn't been.
We got 2 that ain't even been put together yet. I hadn't come across that. What's that word we talk about that's so precious to us now? Time.
Extra time.
Extra time. Yeah, we just hadn't had any of that.
All right.
Wounded Knee says we can call it the Love Shack.
Yeah, the Nut House.
Now the Nut House fits pretty good.
Yeah.
Smoky Shack. Look at that. Oh.
The be all end all building. That's about what it's going to be too. David says he needs prayer for his wife.
Come back to me. I'm clean and sober now.
And I've
been prescribed alcohol withdrawal pills.
And I'm going
to AA. All right.
So David, we will pray.
We will keep you in our prayers. Yes.
In that frame of mind and work toward a goal, and that your wife sees that.
Oh.
Lou, the pecan shack. Lou needs to come visit one day. I've been telling her that for 2 or 3 years. She's gonna show up one day. The Nut House is pretty cool. Well, Jen, one of our friends,
used to have a YouTube channel
called the Nut House.
Yeah, it was called the Nut House. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though she didn't have any pecans or anything else.
No.
She had a crazy husband. That's what she referred to her Nut House. And I know Mike's probably going, yep, that's me.
Laura says, what is a good weather website to look at for guesses in the months ahead? I always tell everybody to go over to Weatherman Plus with Mark. Mark is a fantastic guy. He's in Minnesota, I believe is where he's at up there.
One of them.
And he just does a fantastic job, guys. I mean, Mark does a really good job of explaining all the different ins and outs of the weather and everything, and he gives you all the different scenarios that can happen. And that's one thing I like about Mark. Mark don't just try to push one agenda. He shows you what the Euro, the GFS, he tells you about what's in the MDR, the main development region, the ensembles. He shows you all the ensembles. He shows you the Pacific A&O, the Arctic A&O, Atlantic A&O. I mean, he shows you all these things, and he brings them together and kind of gives you his thoughts on it. So.
Collins Homestead says, I'm so happy to be here. After 8 years, I finally caught alive. I also finally got some Danny corn, and I wear a lot of hats. That's why I have to catch replays, and I miss so much. Well, welcome, Collins Homestead.
Yeah.
And then Tam I Am says they named their candy business after us and Miss Slippy, the Deepsouth Sugar Shack.
All right.
I need some candy.
Yeah.
You're going to have to let me know how to find it. Is it on a website or something called Deepsouth Sugar Shack? I'll have to look for that. Double A said hello.
Let's see here.
A lot of them are saying Weatherman Plus.
He also comes with prayer. Yeah, at the end of Mark's weather videos, he always has a prayer or reads a Bible verse, something to that nature,
And Miss Bertha said, pray for their family. They need a move of God on a decision they have to make.
And believe me, I'm going to tell you, there is power in seeking the Lord's wisdom in things. I mean, really, there is. Mm-hmm. It's really easy for us to jump the gun and to jump out and want to do our own thing. I mean, because whenever we ran into this issue over at Deep South, my fleshly side wanted to kick in, and I wanted to just do what I wanted to do. But I said, you know what? God, the scripture says, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And then when the Lord started speaking to me through scriptures, he showed me in Luke 22, where he said, those things that are done in secret are going to be made public. And when I talked to these people about that, and look, I could tell they were concerned. And the thing about it is one of these people is a good, godly man, and he is very concerned about it, and so I've got that on our side, as we're working with a really godly individual on it, who has been taken advantage of himself. So we always keep him in our prayers also.
Yeah. Okay. I found Tam I Am. I wrote it down. I'm gonna look for the website. Thank you.
Oh man, but that ain't all we've been doing. I mean, we've done a lot this week. We planted a garden this week. I'm
gonna do the 60-foot raised bed one day this week. Danny and I will.
Yeah.
Carrots, English peas, potato. Oh, y'all.
Miss Wanda was so sad.
I come in here and I said, you need to get up now, because he'd been working all day. He was tired. He was sitting in his recliner.
Slam out sitting in the recliner.
I said, you gotta come
late
now.
Evening, right before dark. She says, you got to get up out of that chair and come out here now. I'm like, Wanda, what now?
She said, I ain't taking no for an answer.
The deer has eat my potatoes off. And I'm like, your Irish potatoes? And
half of them.
She said, yep. So we went down there and looked, and sure enough, they went through there and just mowed the top off of about half of them.
And the dog monitors were there, but the way they were turned, they didn't get them till they had eaten almost half of them. Then I think the monitor got them and they ran. But there's a bunch of pink ribbons out now, a lot of them.
It looks like you go into a fair when you go down there. There's so many pink ribbons.
And two monitors sitting right
facing each other. I mean, if anything moves, them barking dog monitors go off down there. So,
yeah. I watered today, and the monitors kept going off, and I said, I don't care. All the animals in the woods gonna hear these monitors for about 30 minutes.
Yeah. But anyway, we got that done. We also planted in the other garden up there. We planted the row of potatoes up there. Mm-hmm. We got those going.
Our onions hadn't come in yet.
No, the onions have not come in. But they were supposed to be in this coming week, probably. they should be coming in.
Miss Bertha said that was a word of God for her. Thank you.
And it's so hot, our rutabagas are all dying, and that's so frustrating to us.
Because
they were so beautiful, and I mean just really, really beautiful. But this heat, I mean, we're in the 90s every day. Heat indexes is in the 90s, and the humidity is just unbearable almost. And it's just those greens are just not. I mean, the turnip greens are hanging in there, and the mustard's hanging in there, but I'm afraid they're just going to be bitter, you know, because they haven't had any cold on them.
Yeah, we got to put some fishing line out. That's going to be the next thing that runs around there. But row cover, we do have some row cover, Mr. John, that we're going to end up putting over everything. It was just, most stuff is up. The carrots are up like tiny, just a hair. So by next few days, you should be able to see it really good. The English peas, some of them up about, 6 or 8 inches. They didn't get on that end, or they'd eat all the English peas. But the potatoes were up, some of them close to a foot tall. And they just munched them off with the ground. But they're coming back out today, so.
Whatchamacallit Homestead said, question, Danny, about my peach trees. Just moved deep south Mississippi, and peach trees are losing my leaves. Is this normal this time of the year? Yes, that is very normal this time of the year. As a matter of fact, they should have been gone. And I'm surprised they're still hanging on. They should have fell off a long time ago, but we just haven't had any any cold to make it happen.
Mm-hmm. A lot of our stuff's probably going to bolt. We've got some pretty greens everywhere. We've got broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage. All of it's pretty. It's growing. It looks big and nice. But if we don't get some cool weather, every bit of it's going to bolt. And we get nothing out of none of it except green leaves.
We've worked so hard to get this stuff up and get it growing, and now it just turned off hot. And it don't look like we're going to get any cold until, maybe Christmas we might get a little bit. But
Pamela said, I had an answer to my prayer for healing this week. Can't wait to start gardening and be outside. God is so good.
Amen. I always like to hear those praise reports.
Request. How do you use fishing line? Donna wants to know.
She's asking Tim.
I know, but you can answer because
what we do in the past, what we've done, we just take the electric fence posts, the little cheapy electric fence posts, and we stick them around out in the outside perimeters of the garden, and run the fishing line along there because it's almost invisible. Get the kind that you can't see with your naked eye, the monofilament type that's clear. And just run it from electric fence post to electric fence post about 3 feet high. And when the deer bump into it, they can't see it. And when they can't see it, it unnerves them. And usually they'll back away from something.
And if they go again and they hit it again, it freaks them out because they're hitting something they can't see.
Yeah.
We have some pretty deer on camera. If I ever quit canning long enough to make a video, we've got a mama with twins. And
we got several mamas with babies, but there's one particular mama that has twins, and she does not leave the feeder. She stays at the feeder all day.
They play and cut up, and I've got some really good video of them when they had their spots. And this was almost 2 weeks ago because I haven't been able to make a video on them. And then this week we saw them. One of them's a little boy, obviously, Danny said, because he's done lost his spots.
He's lost his spots already, and rambunctious as a...
Carrying on like crazy.
Oh, he is so rambunctious.
And the little girl still has her spots. So in 2 weeks, they've changed drastically. And we know we have a skunk.
Yeah, we saw a skunk on there. We got to eradicate him.
And 3 raccoons.
3 raccoons. We're going to have to do something about them. But,
and we know we've got an armadillo in the yard.
Yeah, we've got one that's done popped up here.
Bart says he got 60-some cabbage collard plants. Wow.
Well, Bart, we had probably that many here, but it don't look like they're going to make nothing.
Yeah. Trish said that fishing line worked to keep deer from drinking hummingbird syrup from the garden when she planted for her mom.
Now that's bad when they come drink the hummingbirds liquid. I'm telling you, the deer here are like giant pets. I mean, they're about like the cows, you know?
Almost.
Wanda and I have watched on the videos, when the feeder goes off, it makes a loud ringing racket because the aluminum blades is slinging the corn everywhere. And within a matter of minutes, they come running out of the woods and go to eating. They go to eating the corn on the ground, and when they eat it all, they sit there and look up at the thing like,
and what's bad,
come on.
He's got one feeder in the second food plot that doesn't sling it out. It just sits there and it has these little cups, and the corn falls, and when they eat it, some more will fall. Well, they won't eat it. They walk up and they look at that feeder like, when are you going to sling corn out? Almost every day, they're looking at it, waiting on it to sling corn, and it's not doing it. So they don't know to eat out of it. It's so funny watching them. Welfare deer. That's what I called them.
One more rock says, any panthers or bears there? Yes, we have panthers and we have bears here.
We have one fox that we know of. No, it was a coyote.
It's a coyote. We saw one. I killed all the coyotes out, and now one has showed back up, so I'll have to eventually eradicate that one.
The last one was not long after we married. No, you killed 2 coyotes since we've married.
Since we got married.
But it's been several years.
We were sitting on the back deck, and he went running across the pasture way back there in the back, and I grabbed the high-powered rifle and cut him in half while he was running across the pasture. Hadn't seen any more, though. We have it's kind of like the crows are here. We have a no-fly zone over our place. If you're a crow,
they fly all over the place.
If you're a crow and you fly over our place, you don't usually make it. I mean, we call it a no-fly zone, and the crows know that after a while. They fly around the property. Occasionally, you'll get one that must be a straggler or something. He'll come flying over the property, and lots of times they don't make it.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to announce something. I mentioned it briefly to Danny, but the details is going to be ongoing because we ain't there yet. But for Christmas, we're going to do some giveaways. And here on December, let's see what I got wrote down, 7th, 14th, and 21st. That's 3 different nights. On Saturday night on Deepsouth, we'll give away something that night to somebody in the chat. And then the other 7 things that I'm going to be giving away is going to be on Pecan Grove, and you won't know which video, and you won't know when or where or what you'll have to do and what it is. And I'm not telling y'all what the giveaways are until the night of or the day of, whenever Danny does a video, and he'll just announce it in the video over at Pecan Grove. But when we're doing live on the 7th, 14th, and 21st here, we'll announce what it is, maybe at the beginning or something, and then we'll decide on it. So we're going to be doing some nice giveaways for the holidays.
Oh man, Peggy Allen said they have a pack of coyotes where they live and they jumped on their neighbor's dog and killed it last week. Well, when my wife that passed away, when we first got married, she had a little dog. It was a terrier.
Yes.
No, it was a Yorkie, and we let it out one night to go to the bathroom, and all of a sudden we heard it yelp real loud. And went out there, and Coyote snatched it up and was running across the field with it and killed it and ate it. I guess, I don't know. And from that point forward, I had a vengeance for coyotes, and I kill them rascals. If I see one, he's just not gonna make it. You know, that's one thing about me. If I ever set my mind to something, I will completely eradicate them. Like the wild hogs that were here, I completely eradicated them. There's not a hog here. There ain't been a hog here in, oh gosh, probably 15 years now, because I just went on a rampage. And when I go on a rampage, I don't miss when I shoot, so I literally will take out everything. I mean, if I have to go night after night after night and not get any sleep, you can ask Wanda, I'll stay up all night long. I will eventually eradicate everything.
Darlene, yes, we still have a P.O. box.
Yes.
Yes, we still do get things at the P.O. box. I try to think and check it at least once a week, once every 2 weeks. I've got to go first of this week. Miss Vicky let me know. I want to keep Miss Vicky new in prayer. I think they had some rain and their internet and stuff's out. And we've been missing her all week.
Yeah, if I was people, I'd eradicate every coyote I've seen. I mean, they're totally useless. You know, I mean, all they are is they're just useless. They're no good for nothing. All they do is they're kind of like a raccoon or a possum, or all they want to do is just destroy something. Literally, they just destroy everything.
Would heat cause root vegetables not to form under the ground? The greens above the ground look great. That's Pamela.
Yeah, if it stays too hot, Pamela, they won't form a root, or they were planted in the wrong phase of the moon. They were either not planted in the waning phase of the moon, because that's when you plant root crops, is in the waning of the moon. And if you plant them in any other phase of the moon, they're not going to grow a good root crop.
Yeah, I've got radishes. I finally got radishes up and growing and looking beautiful. Danny tell you, they're up about this tall and they're spaced right, but there's no radishes on them. And it's been a month and they should have radishes. They're just pretty greens. Y'all finally learned to grow something and it don't put the radishes on. And I don't know what phase of the moon I planted them. I just went out there and planted them.
Wanda just goes and plants. I always wait for the phase.
So, my nose is itching. Somebody's talking about us.
Delma De Hoya says, are coyotes the ones that sound like they're laughing? If so, there's several near me. I live in the city, but in the country type area. I don't know if you'd call it. Yeah, they do sound like they're laughing, because when the whole pack gets to running and yelping, it sounds like a bunch of hyenas, making that laughing noises. So yeah, I guess you would call it that. Oh man, Pamela said we had a rat the size of a cat in our chicken pen. Scared me to death. Now over when we first got married, we had a woodshed behind the house back there. The rats in that woodshed got so big, I would sit in the chair out there in the yard with I have a what you call a hopped up pellet rifle. It's an air rifle made for professional shooting. And I would sit there about 30 yards away, and when the rats would walk up on the wood rack, I would shoot them off the wood rack.
I think that one year he killed like 30 rats in that one area. We moved the wood.
We moved the wood. I told I said we got to get the wood out of here. We just moved the wood and put it in a completely different location.
Because every time he'd go to pick up wood, rats would go to running. He's like, oh my goodness.
Nope, we ain't having this. And I'd sit out there. It was fun for me because the rats, I'd put some food out there for them and they'd come out to eat it. And they're big as squirrels.
Yeah, had a great visit.
Had a great visit.
Smokehouse question.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
When you're done smoking your meats, do they need to be refrigerated or frozen?
Oh, when you get through smoking your meat, I have videos over here on Deepsouth about smoking meat. When you get through smoking your meat, you need to. I like to wash mine off to get any smoky residue off the outside of it, and then I like to put it in the refrigerator overnight to do what's called letting it bloom. It needs to bloom and stiffen up so that the next day you can slice it.
Mm-hmm. And we store everything in the freezer, that type of meat, anything that's smoked, even smoked cheese and stuff like that. We clean it off, we wipe it off, and dry it really good, and then we store it in the freezer.
Yep. I'm hoping to get to do a smokehouse video this year. I hope to. I don't know if we will or not, but if it ever turns cold. But if not, we're going to do one in the heat and show you how to cook your smoked meat.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Most of you remember that Black Friday sales are coming up.
Yes, they start the 11th of November, I believe.
A lot of them are of the companies that we work with are all having Black Friday sales, and I don't like to do a whole bunch of videos on everything, but if you're looking for a greenhouse, Grower Solutions doing Black Friday sales starting this next week sometime. I don't remember dates exactly, but you can click on Grower Solution on our links. Go look if you're looking for greenhouses.
Yeah.
Vago's going to be having sales up to 50% off on different things. Not 50% off everything, but each item will have something off, and some items will have 50% off. I got a Nutri-Meal from, and that company is going to have Black Friday sales. I also got a new mixer, the Bosch mixer, and I've got a new attachment coming this week. We're going to be using it. I'm going to be showing y'all some of that. They're having a sale. Who else do we work for? GreenStalk's having a Black Friday sale starting this next week. Or it may one day this week anyway. House Tools, I don't know if they're having one. I don't remember, but probably. My Patriot Supply has a lot of good deals. Check them out. Who else? Am I missing somebody? I know I'm missing somebody.
I'm reading.
Anyway.
I'm sitting here reading comments.
Okay.
Miss Debbie Nick says, Danny and Wanda, please keep my son in prayers. He was hit by a car on the 4th and still on life support. I'm hurting so bad.
We'll be praying.
Ms. Nix, we will. And the rest of you guys, please pray for them too. Please pray for Debbie. It can be a very trying time. Mark Krager says, need prayers. My friend passed away yesterday, and I don't know that he was saved. That's always a trying time, Mark, when you don't know where someone's spending eternity at. Of course, you don't ever really know, but I mean, but it does help to know if you have some idea, of the life that they lived or something. I mean, you can usually have somewhat of an idea, but it is trying when you don't know. Okay, Jim Lippy says, should I let my deer meat stiffen up the same way if I'm going to turn it into jerky? The last couple of times I just sliced it up when I got it back from the butcher. I guess the same thing. Jim, it depends how long your butcher let the deer hang. I usually let my deer hang 3 to 5 days before I actually cut it up. And I'm sure the butcher, unless you sent it to him already cut up, he probably did the same thing. But if not, the meat needs to rest before it's frozen in order to keep it from being tough. I mean, it needs to hang, because if it's not, it will be tough. So I would let mine stiffen up. I'd put it in the refrigerator and let it stiffen up.
We want to mention a couple others. My youngest daughter, her husband Brian, his grandfather passed away this morning, so we want to remember the Powell family. And then most of you may remember in the past when we were doing our gatherings and stuff, and a lot of our lives back many years ago, we did a lot of videos, live interviews and stuff with Two Family Homestead.
Yeah.
Miss Sherry passed away this week, and I think in the community post I put her obituary, so you can go in and leave your thoughts and prayers for Mr. Darrell. And but we did want to let everybody know that Miss Sherry from Two Family Homestead passed away this week.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time with them. They came to all of our gatherings. They're from Ohio.
And Darrell did a fantastic job.
Darrell done a fantastic job with setting up all the equipment and stuff, videoing and stuff like that. They're just outstanding people. They were outstanding people.
Yeah, Miss Sherry kept us laughing.
She did.
She made me laugh the first time we met them. They came we were at Appalachian Homestead.
Yep.
They come walking in, and I recognized them because I'd only seen them a couple of times on YouTube, and went and was speaking to them. And later that night, we went to Cracker Barrel to eat. And I told Danny, I said, I'm taking my camera and I'm going to go around and interview all the homesteaders in here and get them just to tell me who they are, their names and stuff. And I was going around, everybody would say, hey, I'm so-and-so from whatever homestead channel. And when I stopped at Sherry and Darrell's table, I said, hey, and y'all are? And she goes, hey, I'm Wanda from Deepsouth Homestead. And Darrell says, and I'm Danny. And I cracked up and just laughed. I mean, leave it to them two. They come up with something funny. I've not heard from Georgia Girl.
We have not heard from Georgia. We have not. We was beginning to get concerned that Miss Vicky, something had happened to her.
But she
And
messaged
she
today.
messaged us today. I was telling Wanda, I said, we got to reach out to Miss Vicky. I said, because Miss Vicky's been with us for a long time. And I said, I'm concerned that something has happened to her, you know, and we right when we was gonna reach out, we got an email from her, and it really lifted our hearts.
Yeah. And there was something else I was gonna say, but I done forgot what it was. But it'll come to me later.
Yeah, it's
about time for prayers to start being going up anyways tonight. So
Rhonda says prayers for Larry and Bob cancer, plus a special intention. Oh man. Let's see here.
Reflect. You need to refresh, or either go out and come back in, and your sound will fix itself. Miss Lulu says pray for her mom. Trying to get her in a rehab nursing home facility. That is always really tough.
That's a tough decision to make. Yeah.
They want so much money for what they're doing.
And it's getting more expensive every year.
And it's hard if insurance doesn't cover it or whatever. You're stuck with a lot.
For
eternity.
So he lost his mother.
This last
Pray
week.
for our family. I lost my mother last week. We will. I'm guessing that's Donnie.
Mm-hmm.
Prayers, please, for my sister Norma with cancer.
Yeah.
Prayers for Jan says pray for my granddaughters.
Yeah, I'd like to ask prayer for one of our granddaughters too.
Yeah, we have a granddaughter that we need prayers for really, really bad.
And I want to say happy birthday to both my daughters. Yesterday was Maggie's birthday, and yeah, I don't know how old she is. I'm not telling anyway. And today was my oldest daughter's, Amy's, birthday. And yeah, I don't know how old she is either, y'all.
We don't know how old they are, but tell you what, happy birthday, girls. When you get to be our age, to be honest, let's just be honest with you. When you get to be our age, you're just happy to be
Well,
you know
if I told them how old they were, they could figure out how old I was.
They'd
and
figure
I'm
out
a
how
lot older.
Yeah, they figure out how old we were right off the bat, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But it doesn't bother me. I mean.
Yeah, I know how old I am.
Yeah.
And I can sort of kind of figure how old they are.
Yeah.
I know the year they were born. Let's put it that way. That was all that mattered on things that I had to fill out. I had 5 kids, and I had to remember the dates of all 5 of them when they were born, because you're constantly writing down stuff.
Oh, we got Monday is Veterans Day.
Is it?
Yeah, if I'm not, ain't it Monday Veterans Day?
I don't know.
I think it is. I don't think I'm wrong. So if I'm right, and I think I'm right, if I remember correctly, thank you to all in here who have served.
November 11th, yes.
Yeah, I thought it was. That's to me, that's the most honorable thing that a person can do is serve their country. You know.
Well, old man Butt Wrinkles turned 55 yesterday.
Oh, double nickel. That's what we call 55 is double nickel. Yes.
Monday is Veterans Day.
Yes, Veterans Day. I thought it was. We just need to pray for all of our guys. Let me tell you something.
Bertha has a
right now,
birthday this
right
month.
now, everybody needs to pray for our soldiers or our men and women in uniform because it's fixing to get tough. Okay, it's fixing to get tough. I'm always in prayer for our men and women in uniform.
Yes.
It's not like it used to be in the old days. They're fighting a different kind of war now.
And people don't even, they don't think much about it right now because they have everything they want whenever they want it. And we do need to remember our veterans and the ones that are fighting, or, well, not really fighting. They're in situations that could create a fight, you know.
Yes.
They're just in different countries, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is the Marine Corps' birthday.
I don't know, guys. There's a spot in my heart that it's hard to explain for men and women who serve. Uh, I don't care how bad they are or whatever, I still have the utmost respect for them for serving. You know, and I've had some people from the service be horribly mean to me, but I still have a spot in my heart, even though they're mean to me, uh, because I'm thankful that they served. Because the fact that people served is the reason that Wanda and I can sit here right now, and you can sit there on the other side, and we can have this conversation between each other.
Mm-hmm. So we got a lot of, I see several Marine vets in here.
Yes.
As well as others.
When I see Semper Fi, I know exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah, several of them.
E pluribus unum. Yeah, I mean, all this stuff, it's, oh, let's see here.
All right, so tonight, I guess we're going to get off of here pretty quick. We're going to go ahead and have our prayer because we are both tired and we should have done this at 7 instead of 8.
Yeah, I tried to get her to where we'd all been to bed by now. Well,
next week.
I wouldn't have been to bed.
7 p.m. Central Time. 7 p.m. Central Time next week, so we can by this time be asleep.
Well, I'd probably be laying in my recliner over
You'd
there.
be asleep.
I'd be asleep in the recliner. That seems like where I spend most of my time at.
Air Force vet.
Yeah.
USMC. Navy. I see lots of them.
Lots of them there.
Wow.
And I'm thankful for people who serve. I mean, literally. And
yes, very thankful.
If things don't change, I mean, I'll tell it like it is. If things don't change, then the draft will probably come back. And if the draft comes back, then
that's going to be
going to be hard for people who have not been under the draft. You know, I mean, those of us who lived through that time period when you turned 18. I mean, Wanda and I were in that time period. When you turned 18, you had to go sign up. You know.
We missed the war part of it. There's a word again I shouldn't have said.
I missed Vietnam by just 2 years?
2 or 3 years.
About 2 years, I think I missed Vietnam.
I just remember when I was in high school, that was the time of everybody was wearing the bracelets for those missing in action.
Yeah.
MIA. That was a real popular thing. Everybody had somebody's name on their bracelets and stuff. And when they came home, that was a special time. And because there were a lot that they didn't know exactly where they were at that time.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, we're gonna go to prayer.
Audrey wants to know: is it too late to plant greens in Central Mississippi?
No, it ain't. No.
You ain't turned cool yet.
Yeah, you ain't got to worry. You ain't got nothing to worry about. Okay, Father, we come to you tonight, Lord. We're thanking you first off for just being our God, and for being so awesome. Lord, there's been a ton of requests come out here tonight. I'll never remember all these names, Father, but we sit and spoke about all these names. You've heard every name we mentioned here tonight. And I want to lift every one of them up before you in the name of Christ. And Father, there's been people who lost loved ones. We've lost some of our best friends now this past week. And I'm praying for those who've lost loved ones, Lord. There's going to be an empty spot there. I've walked that road. I know what that emptiness is. And I know that when you lose a spouse, it don't seem like anything can ever take its place. But you know what? God is good, and God can heal the broken heart. And Lord, that's never a good thing. Never is. And we're just asking special prayers for those who have those kind of situations that they have to deal with, and give them healing for their bodies, Lord. And then we've got a lot of people here tonight who's just praying for other people, grandkids, daughters, sons, all these different ones, Lord. Ms. Nix, who hadn't lost her son, but her son's in intensive care. Lord, I'm asking special prayer right now for this young man as he's sitting there in intensive care, that that your hand will reach down and touch his life. And Father, that you'll raise him back up again and give him back the life that he once had. I've been there. I've been broke all to pieces and laid for weeks in a hospital bed, not knowing if I was going to live or die. And you brought me back, Lord, and I'm here today to testify and to give you the glory for it. So I know that there is hope, and I lift up their name tonight in hope, Father. And Father, for those that feel just total despair at this moment, I pray that you will step in, and Lord, you'll give them peace that passes all understanding. And Father, that the Holy Spirit will just indwell them and encapsulate them and cause their hearts to just find peace and comfort now. And Lord, if the unthinkable should happen and we should lose somebody that's close to us, then Father, may your gracious hand be with us, and may it grant us the peace that we need to sustain us through these times. And as we go through the remainder of the night, Lord, and we think about Veterans Day coming up, those that have served, Father, and those that are serving now, I ask that your hand be over them also, Lord, as we go into some very, we got about 8 or 10 more weeks of some very troublesome times here that we're going to have to be dealing with, and it's not going to be a good time for our men and women in uniform. So we're praying for them, a special prayer, Father, that you'll keep your hands over them. We love you, and we appreciate you, and we ask that you do forgive us where we failed you in the kingdom of heaven. We ask this in Christ's name. Amen.
Oh, okay.
Let's see here. I'll get my glasses back on. Let's see here. A lot of people have served. That's always a blessing.
Yes.
That's a blessing. That is a blessing. Yeah, we got like not as long a delay as we usually have. You know, I was looking at that.
Bad.
Not too bad.
You get
It's like a
my satellite put where we needed it.
Like
it'll
5-second
work
delay.
better. He moved it somewhat, and it made a difference. Well, we moved the interior piece.
Yeah.
And it made a little bit of difference. And if he gets the outside piece, he slows down long enough to do that.
Yeah. But
we might. They want a tip.
Want a tip?
What was that tip you told me?
Tip.
Never drink milk.
Yeah, don't drink milk and eat fish at the same time.
Yeah, that's what he told me this. I had to laugh at that one.
Yeah. Oh. Catherine says, "Why are you going to say anything till it... I'm going to give it time. I'm going to give it time to clear up."
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Maybe I should just start this all over again.
Yeah, maybe you should.
Okay. Let's just wait. That, how to say this? Couple of things. One is there is some individuals that are working desperately to collapse the economy before President-elect goes back into office, trying to make it as hard as they can. And let's all pray together that venture fails, because they are literally going to, it is an agenda to collapse our economy. And I'm praying myself that it don't happen. So that's one thing. Secondly, is that I'm going to do 3 tonight. There is the possibility that there will be a massive event sometime in mid-December. And I'm also praying that doesn't come to fruition, because there's some information out there that says that there would be something pretty massive that happens before mid-December. And I'm praying that doesn't happen, to be honest with you, you know. And there's also some, I'm just keep using the word chatter. There's also some chatter out there that we may see another really, really big oil crisis, like maybe even an oil spill before the first of the year. So I'm also hoping that that doesn't happen, because when those kind of things happen, you have you have a lot of environmental issues that take place, and you have a lot of people who lose their lives down the road from it because of the exposure to different chemicals. So let's pray collectively that none of these three events that's being talked about in the realm never actually happens.
The other thing is these solar flares.
Oh, yeah.
The radiation coming from the
There's-
sun is intense.
We're in solar cycle 25, and we're in a solar maximum now, guys. We're not in a solar minimum anymore. We're in a solar maximum. And the solar flares are going to really get to be a lot worse than what they've been. We're going to be seeing a lot of X-class flares and M-class flares, even to the point of the Carrington event from the 1800s. Now, yes, the government has hardened off a lot of our stuff, but that's not what's the really bad part about this is. We're going to be seeing some massive radiation issues. A lot of people see these northern lights and they go, "Oh, the northern lights, the borealis, they're just so beautiful. I can see them all the way down to the Gulf Coast, you know, or down into Texas, or I can see them into Indiana, Ohio." Guys, this is one of the absolute worst things that could be happening. Because when you can see those northern lights that far south, what's happening is you're being inundated with radiation. You're going to be seeing a lot of people's going to be getting sick. They're going to have radiation poisoning. And people's going to be, I hate to say it, people's going to be getting cancer.
And to being outside, I mean, this week Danny even had issues. He was outside for a while.
Yep.
The sun was bearing down on him, and you had.
I came in. I've been sitting in the swing, and the sun. Matter of fact, I was shooting porch time.
That's it. He was shooting.
I was shooting porch time last week. I felt perfectly fine sitting in the. Y'all remember? I was sitting in the sun, and I kept telling you about how hot it was. You could see the shadow across my hat. I came in the house and I sit down for a few minutes to cool off from being in the sun, and got up to go back out. When I went outside, everything, I couldn't walk, I couldn't see straight. I mean, literally, it's like I had a heat stroke.
And it was not hot that day.
No, it was not hot.
And it was early morning, but the sun had started. No, it was afternoon.
It was around lunch.
Yeah, the sun had started hitting him on that side. And he walked back in. He says, I'm dizzy. I can't. He said, I'm just going to have to sit a while. And I said, you were sitting in that sun.
Yep.
And that sun was bearing down on him. So that's why he's trying to work where there's a shade. As long as you're in the shade, it doesn't seem to affect you. But when you get out in the direct sun for more than 5 to 10 minutes, at least if you're staying in direct sun for 15 to 30 minutes, it's going to affect you.
So these are just a few things. And guys, let's pray this. Look, all it takes for President-elect to not go in office is for us to go to war. That's all it takes.
That word again.
I know. I can't help it. I got to be honest with these people. I mean, they want to hear it.
Yep.
And that's all it takes. So let's pray. All of us collectively pray together that doesn't happen. Because if we, by any chance, World War III is already going on, but if we become more involved in it and declare it as actual war, then the sitting president doesn't have to leave power.
Miss Molly Smith said it. Praying also there isn't a random transfer of executive power before the end of the year.
Yes.
that's the way,
That's
that's the way
what
to say it.
that's what I'm trying to convey over, is that there isn't this random transfer of power right now. I mean,
they're already trying to pull it in the Senate.
yeah.
I mean, right now, you got to pray, call your congressmen, your senators. They're trying to do something underhanded ahead of schedule now. Mr. Mitch is trying to pull something.
Yeah.
And y'all, they're going to pull any and every little something they can.
Yep.
And y'all know it, so don't get upset. Just keep praying and seeing if we can work through this.
But anyway, that's your tips for tonight. Just be aware, and look, don't freak out, okay? Don't freak out, because
this has to happen.
It's got to happen. Matthew 24 tells us these things has got to happen, and the Lord is in control. He's allowing all this stuff so that the end results can, we all know what the end of the book says in Revelation. So, I mean, we got to understand these things got to happen. It's got to happen in somebody's lifetime, And the thing that most of us are not really understanding is these events that are happening in our solar cycle have not happened in anybody that's on the earth in their lifetime. So there's nobody living on the earth that has gone through what we're fixing to start going through with the cycles that we're fixing to face. So there's nobody that can sit back and say, well, it was like this. No, that's not going to happen. It's been thousands of years since we've been through some of the things we are fixing to face. We're looking at a magnetic pole flip that's fixing to happen here pretty soon. And none of us have ever lived through that. There's not a soul on the earth that's lived through that. Now, I'm not trying to say the earth is going to flip, but the magnetic currents in the earth are going to flip at some point, because we've seen the core of the earth actually start slowing down to the point now where it's almost to stop. And if it ever starts turning backwards, then the magnetic poles of the earth will flip. We see them moving at a rate of about 40 miles a month or something like that, I think they said now. So the Federal Aeronautics Association has they're constantly having to change the magnetic north at the runways and the airports and all this kind of stuff. The military is constantly having to change the magnetic north. Birds are getting extremely confused, those that migrate based off of the magnetic north. Animals are totally confused. So
if your animals act weird, it's for a reason. We noticed the sun over the last 4 or 5 years. The sun it's in different places it shouldn't be at different times. Danny always knew where, like the way the house at Deepsouth faced.
Yep.
We knew the sun came up and came through those windows. We left the blinds closed till after the sun moved.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it wasn't coming through the windows no more. And Danny says, wait, something ain't right, And now we notice the way it hit. It's hitting and it's all moving.
Here's something. Let me tell you something else to look for. I mean, I'm just going to give you all a lot of stuff tonight. Be aware right now, because of the things that's going on in our atmosphere, and it's not all weather modification. There's a lot of it that is now. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of it that is. But we're seeing some things taking place in the upper atmosphere now that's causing atmospheric rivers to take place in the upper atmosphere. And this is a thing that I don't know how to best put this in a layman's term, but it's where the upper atmosphere can hold more water than it usually holds, because the updraft is so great that the water just hangs in the upper atmosphere up there. And then whenever it comes to a point where it gets to be too heavy and it clouds and it has to be released, that's when you get these deluges of water where you get 10, 15, 20 inches of rain. What we saw happen In the Ozarks here just this past week. Helene, the North Carolina area up there. France, Spain.
Wait, it might not have been France. It was Spain.
It was Spain. It was Spain where the water went down through the streets. And then
China.
China. These are called atmospheric rivers. This is caused by what's going on in our solar system. So don't be conscious of it. Because they'll tell you that you're going, we could have 2 to 3 inches or maybe 5 to 6 inches of rain, and then all of a sudden you'll be inundated with 15 inches of rain, and people's lives will be in danger, and things will be lost.
Texas lady says Roswell, New Mexico had the biggest flood in over 100 years.
Yeah.
There's places
Roswell is where
plus year flood.
Anything can happen at Roswell. That's where Area 51 is. I mean.
Yeah. But still, there's lots of places.
That's what I'm talking about. These atmospheric rivers are up there in the upper atmosphere now, and when they release, we're going to see loss of property and loss of lives, like we saw in North Carolina. Hopefully, nobody in. I haven't seen where anybody in Missouri lost their lives.
But they got a good bit of water.
There was some damage up there. There was a lot of damage in Missouri.
Okay, so it's time to go to bed. It's 9:30.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I've kept y'all up here this night. But I thought maybe when we started talking about tips, I hate to hold information if I know it. I hate to just keep holding on to it. So take it for what it's worth, and let's just pray that some of it doesn't ever even really happen. And we will see y'all. Hopefully, we'll see y'all Monday.
At Pecan Grove.
At Pecan Grove, with the Smokehouse video.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to see where we're at on the Smokehouse.
Yeah, well, I think over at Pecan Grove we're at 23-something thousand subscribers. We'd like to hit 25.
I would like.
I'll do a special. I'll give away some of Danny's grits and cornmeal or something, and a thing of syrup. If we could hit 25,000, y'all.
I ain't even made no syrup. How can you give syrup away? I ain't made none.
They'll have to wait on it.
Oh, they'll just have to wait then. Yeah.
Well, we may not hit 25,000 for 6 months to a year.
I mean, I was fixing to say. But anyway, everybody, we love you, and y'all have a wonderful, blessed night.